Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of One Take because life has no rehearsal. Today, we're dealing with a guy with a twisted sense of humor. Tony Sharpe was a hotshot creative director working on one of the best accounts in Chicago, SC Johnson Wax for everybody. And he now owns a company with a phrase that all of us old people hate, and he turned it around into a company. Okay, Boomer. So Tony today works is the founder of OK Boomer, and he advises companies on how to market to the senior people. So Tony, welcome. Full transparency, word of warning. Tony, like every one of us who grew in that atmosphere, uses a lot of swear words, and you're welcome to it.
All right. Well, thanks for having me here. Thank you so much.
So we have a lot of background together, Foote Cone Belding, yet we had never met. So that was weird because I used to go to Chicago a lot, with the Marx Brothers and all of that.
Yeah.
So tell me more about what was your decisive moment professionally? Like what made Tony Sharp professionally?
You know, it's actually two stories, and they both happened late in life. One of them was I was thinking about starting a band, a rock band. I've been in bands since I was 17, and I've been playing with the same bass player the entire time, right? And I had just finished up with a band I'd been with for about 40 years, and I was releasing an album. And but I wanted to start touring, which meant I had to put together a band and get out of the studio and start doing that. And I didn't know if it was the right thing to do. And I was uh, talking to my wife about it, and my young son, he was 6 at the time. He says to me, "Papa, what are like the oldest bands?" And I was like, I don't know. It's like the Rolling Stones. They've been around a long time. Paul McCartney's in his 80s. He's still playing. Ringo Starr still's going at it from the Beatles. He goes, and so you're, how old are you? I said, I'm 60. He goes, you got like 20 more years. Do it. I mean, from the mouths of Abe, right? So
Yeah,
that hit me. I go, yeah, it really is true. I've got at least 20 more years. And then I got laid off. What I'm gonna say for the last time. It was January of last year, and my bass player, he was working at a different job. He got laid off at the same time, and we just said, "Well, we're doing this. We're going to do this whole band thing." And at the same time, I had a client who was focusing. I mean, their business is a lot of it's boomers and older, honestly. And I thought to myself, an agency that focuses on boomers would be the thing to do for a boomer. And being in a rock band as a boomer was just like a bonus. So I think that, I'm not finished yet. I still got 20 years ahead of me. And I think most boomers want to be like that too. I'm
yeah,
not done yet. So I want to make sure that the clients that I work with, who are talking to boomers and other seniors, that they know that we are an aspirational group, if you will. It's not, we're just not being tossed aside. People should aspire to be here because we've got all the money,
yep,
and most of the real estate. So
yeah,
uh,
absolutely.
that's what I just want to elevate the conversation around boomers. So it all happened like just like that.
And
And
you
here
said
I
a
have a
second story.
completely, well, the first story was the band, and the second story was getting laid off. So,
Oh, yeah. Well,
yeah,
then again, who
I
hasn't
think,
been laid off in our business, right?
I was lucky. I never got laid off. I mean, I rose to where I was in Chicago, and then I got laid off at 50. for the very first time in my career. And I was like, how did I make it this long? And I've been laid off 4 times since then, but it's old hat to me now, but it won't happen again because now I work for me and
Right.
I'm not going to lay me off.
Yep. So yeah, I had the same thing. I got laid off, I guess, the the major time, right?
Yeah.
Around 55. I tell people that in our business, in advertising, and it's one of the sad parts of advertising. The shelf life of a woman is to 50, and the shelf life of a man is to 55. And a few privileged people, they keep on going, like Jonathan, for example.
Right.
We both know him. Marcio Moreira from McCann. But by and large, I would say 95% of us, that's a shelf life. So
Right.
the other thing we're talking about, I mean, like you've been through a lot of change. I mean, nobody at our age can escape change.
No.
We see change coming. Some of us are lucky to cause change. Like a few of us have actually changed entire industries, and I loved it when I did it. So there's a lot of change that is foreseeable, right?
Right.
But then there are changes that you look back and you say, like, damn, how did that happen? Like, what happened there? So what big change? And you come straight from the agency business. What big change have you seen, or did caught you unprepared? Let's say.
Well, first of all, every time I start to talk about the old days, and the minute I start to say it, my young son, the same one, interrupts me. Back in my day, just like that every time. So I just kind of stopped talking about the old days around him. But um, when we came up in the business, every agency, small to large, wanted to be a full service agency. And full service then was TV, radio, print, outdoor, and media buying. That was pretty much the offering. And everybody wanted to make sure they could deliver on all of those. But then, you know, companies decided, hey, if we get plenty of clients buying media, we'll have more power because we'll buy more of it. So they split the media businesses off to a different entity just to buy media, separated. Holding companies just loved that. But then digital came along and everything exploded after that. And then social media came and influencers came and all these different variations of the business, right? It just exploded into all these little parts. And when I say little parts, I do mean little parts, and not all of them are connected.
Yep.
It's and that's one of the things the agency is supposed to do. You're supposed to look at the client's business, learn and know the client's business, and then be able to help them grow that business. And you need all of those pieces, or at least to be able to see all those pieces, to be able to know how to do that effectively. And nobody can do that anymore. They want a social media agency, that somebody to manage that. They're over here, and then if they have television, still it's over here, and over here, and these two usually aren't talking to each other because they're trying to steal each other's business,
Yep.
right, and create another entity or whatever. And I would have never thought that in a million years it would be divided like that. I mean, from media specialty to content and social to strategy only agencies, PR influencers, technology platform agencies, all that sort of stuff. I never thought it would be like that. And
So
but
then let me push back. Well, I'm not
okay,
going to
go
push
ahead.
back on that, but let me just take you in two directions because both are interesting. You now have a consultancy, meaning you do get to see the entire picture of at least a part of the business,
Right.
senior people, but you also have a band. And I deal with bands daily. I mean, I counted in 2 years at Churchill's, which is one of the dive bars in Miami. I was on stage photographing 125 different bands.
Well, yeah.
So, I know bands also. And bands use social media a lot, mainly because they don't have any money for paid advertising. But they use social media a lot. How do you see both of those directions for you? So the first one is the formal one. What are you doing with OK Boomer? How do you
Well,
integrate it?
well, with OK Boomer, I actually am doing everything for the client, um, and that way I can see everything. And even well, not everything. There's a couple of pieces that I don't actually do, but the client lets me into those sessions so I know what they're doing. And that's key. You have to be able to see the whole picture like that. And as far as the band goes, I think being in a rock band for me is proof of concept. All right, the boomers aren't finished yet. I mean, if you, I started an ad agency and a rock band on the same day. All right, in August of this year. So, um, I'm not finished. Obviously, I'm just gonna keep this energy going as long as I can, and keep growing both of these things.
But for example, oh, I don't know, even last Saturday, but last in the last couple of months, there was a band, actually a pretty good band in Miami called Revolution, and they found that whenever you type Revolution, 10,000 other things would be in. Jerry Gray, the singer, super nice guy, is of all things, no, he knows about SEO and all of that, so he changed the entire band. They're called now We All Rise, War. And then he's very strong into social media, so it's a very interesting avenue for bands, like how do you use SEO, social media, how do you use that to get gigs? I would be interested in how you do it.
Well, we are doing it. We use social media to connect to a community, and the name of the band is You, Me, and Kyle. You can find us at youmeandkyle.com. That's our website, and you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. But it's it's all branding. It's all branding. We were putting together this album, and we're working with some other musicians, and when they were like, I don't know if I'm into this or not. So when the last one left, my songwriting partner Henry Hutton turns to me and he says, I guess it's just you, me, and Kyle now. And Kyle was the drum machine we use to create our demos with. So I had this idea of You, Me, and Kyle. I just knew that was going to be the name of the band. And the old guy learned how to use AI to create artwork for the band's album or art. And it's me and Henry and Kyle, who is a robot. And so it's all branding, and that's how people, think of us now, and that's how we present ourselves in social media. And we continue to do it, even though we have a real band with real people playing, very talented musicians playing with us now. Um, but we still keep that image going out there because it works.
Yeah,
It makes us unique in the space.
yeah. I remember we are talking about it when we first started talking about the podcast. Like using AI to develop, you know, all of your illustrations and everything. I contribute to something called the Caring Place. It used to be called the Miami Rescue Mission, where the leader, Reverend Bromlick, he presented a whole rebranding of Miami Rescue Mission into the Caring Place using illustrations done with AI at like 80. So yeah, I mean, like boomers are not over yet, and I'm very glad somebody is having the sense of humor of taking "Okay, boomer," which used to be insulting,
Yeah.
into making it something bigger than life, I guess.
Right.
So
Well, yeah, that's how. I mean, that's how I got to that name. I just was said that to myself. Okay, boomer, what are you going to do? Right? What are you going to do now? You're starting an agency. What are you going to call it? When I knew I was going to focus on boomers, that
yeah,
seemed like the right thing. It fits with my fucking personality, right? So
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a great name. I mean, it certainly shows two things: a sense of humor and the fact that you're not ready to sit down and die. You know,
No,
which
I, I, I don't think any of us are.
no,
So
definitely. So then, like the obvious one, right? You're sitting with a CEO. You got, like somebody who's 30 applying for a job, somebody who's 55 or 60. What do you tell that CEO about the value of hiring an older person?
it's kind of like writing a prompt for AI. You're writing a job posting, right? And you've seen these job postings that people put out there, like when social media first started, they would say, "We're looking for somebody with 5 years of social media experience," and I'm like, social media's only been around for like two. How are you going to get that?
Yeah,
They're always wanting more experience. They ask for more experience, and they ask for experience in different categories. That unicorn they're looking for has 10 years of experience, creating content, can edit, knows Photoshop, and can design and write copy. It's like they're not people out there like that can do all that and do it all well. But there are people out there like you and me that have seen all those things done well and have led teams that did all those things well. Wouldn't that be the person you would want on your team?
yeah,
So, and again, back to we were talking before, being an ad agency, you want to be able to see all the parts. Wouldn't you like to have somebody that has? That's what I wanted to. I would say to a CEO, and that's what makes the older workers in my industry, anyway, advertising, our industry, um, more valuable than you think. Experience is far more valuable than you think.
I from your talk, I say it's even more than experience. Is we have a certain standard that is high.
That's
It
true.
has been built by seeing many good people. We've seen a lot of bad people, you and I.
Oh yeah,
A lot of really, I mean, like useless crap.
yeah.
But we've been privileged. I have been privileged by working with really bright people. So we've seen it. We have that standard, and we know how to replicate it. I would guess.
Yeah, and I guess as evidence of that, there are several people that used to work with me or in my group in Chicago that own agencies now that are just some of the best creative agencies out there. I'm not saying that I did that for or helped them do that, but I saw it in them then and tried. And my job was to help get it out. And they were doing it for me, and they're doing it for themselves. And I'm just glad I was in there somewhere. You know.
Yeah, I have the
Um,
same thing in media. So Tony, it's been a real pleasure.
oh,
I
pleasure's all mine.
I really thank you. And then we should be connecting also on the band level because
Oh yeah.
I
Well,
it's a world that I love.
yeah. Well, hopefully I'll be on one of those stages. Well, sorry, you, me, and Kyle will be on one of those stages, and you can come take pictures of us.
I
Just make
will.
sure you get my good side. So
Exactly. Like I don't have a good side at all, according to people, but
yeah.
yeah, I will.
All right. Great. Thank you.
Okay, Tony. Well, thank you very much. It's been a real pleasure.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye bye.